The truth is AI. Are Donald Trump's seemingly erratic actions a sign of strategic brilliance or a descent into unpredictable chaos? We dissect the method behind the perceived madness, exploring the economic, geopolitical, and even personal dimensions of his approach to power. Prepare for an analytical journey that challenges conventional wisdom and demands a critical eye. Trump's imposition of tariffs on goods from steel to wine sent shockwaves through the global economy. Was this economic vandalism or a calculated strategy to revitalize American industry and reshape trade relationships? These tariffs, targeting nations from China to the EU, represent a bold assertion of economic nationalism. The aim is to shield domestic industries, repatriate manufacturing jobs, and force trading partners into more favorable agreements. However, the short-term consequences include market volatility, supply chain disruptions, and potential inflationary pressures. Trump's gamble hinges on the belief that short-term pain will yield long-term gains, but the risk of triggering a full-blown trade war remains a significant concern. The reported Oval Office confrontation between Trump, Vice President J.D. Vance, and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky raises serious questions about Trump's approach to the conflict. Was this a genuine diplomatic breakdown or a carefully orchestrated performance? Trump's confrontational tactics, including demands for gratitude and threats to cut off aid, suggest a strategy of pressuring Ukraine towards a ceasefire, potentially on terms favorable to Russia. Vance's role as the bad cop may have been designed to amplify Trump's tough guy image and signal resolve to both Kyiv and Moscow. The success of this approach hinges on whether it can pave the way for meaningful peace talks, but the risk of alienating Ukraine and emboldening Russia is substantial. Trump's repeated criticisms of NATO, demands for increased financial contributions from member states, and veiled threats of withdrawal have shaken the foundations of the alliance. Is he strengthening NATO's resolve or pushing it to the brink of collapse? By pressuring allies to increase their defense spending, Trump aims to redistribute the financial burden and force European nations to take greater responsibility for their own security. However, this approach carries the risk of undermining the alliance's unity and providing an opening for adversaries like Russia to exploit divisions. The long-term consequences of Trump's NATO policy will depend on whether it ultimately strengthens the alliance's collective defense capabilities or accelerates its fragmentation. The persistent question of Trump's ties to Russia has cast a long shadow over his presidency and continues to fuel speculation about his motivations and allegiances. Is he beholden to Moscow through financial entanglements, political leverage, or some other form of influence? Trump's history of financial difficulties, including multiple bankruptcies in the 1990s, raises questions about his reliance on external sources of capital. With U.S. banks reluctant to lend to him, did Russian money play a crucial role in rescuing his business empire? While there is no direct evidence of Russian government bailouts during Trump's bankruptcies, the influx of Russian money into Trump's real estate projects is well documented. The purchase of Trump properties by Soviet elites in the 1980s and the acquisition of Trump condos by Russian oligarchs in the 2000s suggest a pattern of financial support from Russian sources. The sale of a Palm Beach mansion to Russian billionaire Dmitry Rybolovlev for a substantial profit further fuels suspicions of financial ties. Deutsche Bank's willingness to lend billions to Trump after other banks had turned him away has raised eyebrows, particularly given the bank's own history of laundering Russian money. Could Deutsche Bank have served as a conduit for funneling Russian funds to Trump? While there is no definitive proof of such a scheme, the circumstantial evidence is compelling. Deutsche Bank's deep ties to Russia and its history of financial misconduct make it a plausible vehicle for channeling funds from Russian sources to Trump. Eric Trump's past statement about relying on Russian funding, though later retracted, adds further fuel to the speculation. While public records do not show Trump owing money directly to the Russian government or state-owned banks, the opacity of his financial dealings makes it difficult to rule out the possibility of hidden debts. His partnerships with individuals like Felix Sater, who have close ties to Russian oligarchs, suggest potential avenues for indirect financial obligations. Without access to Trump's tax returns, it is impossible to definitively determine the extent of his financial indebtedness to Russian entities. However, The available evidence suggests that his business empire may be more reliant on Russian money than is publicly acknowledged. The question of whether Russia possesses compromising information or other forms of leverage over Trump remains a subject of intense debate. The unverified allegations in the Steele dossier and the numerous contacts between Trump's campaign and Russian officials raise concerns about potential vulnerabilities. Trump's consistent praise of Putin, his downplaying of Russian aggression, and his pursuit of policies that align with Moscow's interests have fueled suspicions that he may be acting under some form of influence. Whether this influence stems from financial dependence, personal loyalty, or some other factor remains unclear. While there is no conclusive proof of direct financial control or collusion, the circumstantial evidence of Trump's ties to Russia is substantial. The real estate deals, the shady partnerships, and the Deutsche Bank connection all point to a pattern of financial entanglement with Russian interests. Whether this entanglement translates into actual control or influence remains an open question, but the potential for leverage cannot be dismissed. Trump's seemingly disparate actions, from economic nationalism to diplomatic brinkmanship to flirtations with Russia, may be part of a larger, more coherent strategy. Is he a chaotic disruptor or a master strategist playing a complex game of geopolitical chess? His pursuit of unconventional ideas, such as acquiring Greenland for its mineral resources or joking about annexing Canada, suggests a willingness to challenge established norms and explore unconventional solutions. These actions, while often dismissed as impulsive or outlandish, may be part of a broader strategy to disrupt the existing world order and assert American dominance. Some analysts believe that Trump's ultimate goal is to prepare for a showdown with China, using economic pressure and strategic alliances to contain its growing influence. Whether this strategy will succeed or backfire remains to be seen, but it represents a bold and risky attempt to reshape the global balance of power. The long-term consequences of Trump's policies are uncertain, but the potential outcomes are significant. His economic policies could lead to either renewed prosperity or economic stagnation. His foreign policy could either strengthen alliances or lead to isolation. His relationship with Russia could either serve American interests or undermine national security. The success or failure of Trump's strategy will depend on a complex interplay of factors, including his ability to navigate domestic political challenges, manage international relations, and adapt to unforeseen events. The stakes are high, and the outcome will have profound implications for the United States and the world. Donald Trump's presidency has been marked by controversy, disruption, and uncertainty. His policies have challenged conventional wisdom, disrupted established norms, and sparked intense debate. Whether he is a chaotic force or a strategic genius remains a matter of opinion. The question of Trump's ties to Russia continues to linger, raising concerns about potential conflicts of interest and undue influence. While there is no definitive proof of direct control, the circumstantial evidence of financial entanglement and political alignment is substantial. Now, it's your turn to weigh the evidence, consider the arguments, and draw your own conclusions. Is Trump a puppet, a player, or just playing us all? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and let's continue the conversation. If this analysis has sparked your curiosity and challenged your assumptions, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more in-depth investigations. Thank you for joining us on The Truth is AI. Stay informed, stay critical, and let's keep pursuing the truth together.